One final game from the Indianapolis Regional. The winner is advancing on to the NAIA Softball World Series. And as a rematch of the game that just completed about 35 minutes ago, it is Marian, it is Columbia College. Greg Rakestraw, Kelsey Casper with you here on ISC. Kelsey, your thoughts on this one? It was a 1-0 Marian win. They did not score until the top of the 7th. They're going to trot Sydney Wilson right back out there for her 3rd start of the day.
Well, to start that game, it was the Shouten Wilson show. Both pitchers having a perfect game up until the 4th or 5th inning. And Wilson, again, getting the start on the mound. She did so well in game 1. There came a couple of situations where Columbia had runners on 3rd, bases loaded with 1 out. Wilson calmly getting out of those jams, and all it took was the top of the 7th inning. Marian just getting a couple runners on. Savannah Baker, the sacrifice fly. That 1 run was all they needed to force this game.
So Columbia College is going to make a change in their lineup. They have pulled Bailey Merritt, who's been the number 2 hitter. She will be available off the bench in this game. They have basically bumped the other batters in the lineup up. Sophie Angel goes from the cleanup spot to the 2nd position. King, Wheeler, Lubering, Green, Gottman. Kylie Kinsler comes into the 8th spot to play right field. And Susie Shanks will stay in the 9 spot to play left. So Wilson has thrown 12 innings today, threw 3 2/3 yesterday. She has yet to give up a run against Columbia College in 10 2/3 innings, combining yesterday's play, as the runs that were scored by the Cougars were against Olivia Stunkel, Marian's number 1 pitcher, who we saw through the last 2 innings against Middle Georgia. Strike 3 called. Said she went. So Pringer retired as a strikeout. Again, that's something that Wilson does not typically do a lot of. Wilson got 3 strikeouts when she scattered those, or she got 4, frankly, when she scattered those 3 hits in the previous game. Marian coming in at 47-7. Columbia College 26-18. And first loss in over a month for the Cougars. Outside corner fastball to strike. So Angel bumps up from the number 4 position, where she was 1 for 2 with a single. She had the first base hit of the game in game number 1 for the sophomore. Off speed. Center field. Pritchett's got it. 2 down.
Wilson picking off right where she left off, favoring that inside corner. Getting these players just a little jammed as Angel got just underneath it. Easy fly ball for Pritchett out in center field.
So here's Emily King. King, the catcher, maintains in her usual 3 spot, and that ball hit her. Clipped her off the arm. So hit by pitch. Columbia gets a runner on a little sooner than they did in the previous game. As my partner mentioned, they had to wait to the bottom of the 4th to run on the base paths, and wasn't great contact. That's a sound call from that umpire. Wheeler grounds to Green, slings it over to first, and in once again relatively rapid fashion, the lineup is retired for Columbia College. Marian, the home team in this 2nd game, comes to bat when we come back here on the ISC Sports Network. The Marian Knights will trot out the same 9 for this game 3 of their day. Harwager, Pritchett, Madeir, Norman, Green, and Meyer, Baker, Roop, and Dalton. Again, Wilson listed but will not bat in this 9-player lineup for Coach Fleming. And again, Ella Schouten who has thrown every inning of every game so far for Columbia College. And she was beaten, giving up 1 run in the last game. She has been just absolutely fantastic. She has given up 3 runs over the course of 3 games. She gets the start here in game number 3 of the day, game number 2 for the Cougars. Harwager bunts, Schouten fields, fires to first, and gets the out. And there's 1 away.
Seems the only time Harwager doesn't get that bunt down successfully, it's just when it's a little too hard to the pitcher.
Yep.
Every other time, it's a guaranteed single.
If she literally deadens that a foot or 2 short, that's a base hit. Pritchett swings through and misses, the freshman from Greenwood High School. Pritchett went 0 for 3 in the previous game. Pritchett 1 for 6 for the day. That misses off the corner. By the way, Michael Brown is her home plate umpire. Gavin Ramsey is the first base umpire. And Brian Howard handles all the action at third. Pritchett lifts this one foul. Had a brief chance to catch up with Marian coach Scott Fleming after the game, and it was all smiles as you would expect, having already won 2. Trying to lead his team back to the NAIA World Series. Pritchett waves at that one. Strikeout for Schouten, one of likely many she will have in this game. She came into the week 14th in the NAIA in strikeouts, and clearly hasn't hurt that number.
She had 9 in the game before this. 12 the first time she faced Marian.
That means she's sitting on 240 for the season.
Just insane numbers. Very hard for this Marian offense, even just to get a piece of this ball. So good at hitting her spots, making everyone chase, as well as keeping them off balanced.
Madeir, she has a hit in all 4 games of this regional. And she scored the lone run of the previous game. Leadoff single in the 7th. She would score on the Savannah Baker sacrifice fly. And of note, that was a freshman driving in another. Count in Schouten's favor at 0-2. Swing and a miss. So, much like the last time, the top of the lineup retired in order by Schouten. Scoreless through 1 of this regional championship here on ISC.
Leaps ahead, still on his feet. Stevens lunges. Are you kidding me?
Champions of Marian County. Unbelievable.
Touchdown.
Living up to that last name.
Wabash has the lead for the first time today.
Said that was going to be a highlight reel.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
So illustrated that to you in the top of the first inning in terms of some of the lineup changes. Let's show them to you now for Columbia College again. Marian had been their 2-hitter. She is not in the lineup. This is the first time in the 4 games for Coach Spratt we have seen them go to a different lineup. So Kinsler will see her come to bat maybe this inning, possibly in the 3rd inning. Lubering, Green, and Gottman, 5, 6, and 7, due up this time through. Lubering, 1 for 3. Had a single between the shortstop and third baseman in the 5th inning of game number 1. Chesney, the starting second baseman for Columbia College. Just off the corner. 1-1 the count. Chesney, a freshman from St. Thomas, Missouri. That misses 2-1. Change up, spoiled. Count it 2-2. And if Wilson starts to tire at all, Stunkel is ready and available for Marian. We did see Gottman loosening up between games just in case she is needed for Columbia. This one, shallow right field, and that will get down for a base hit. Perfectly placed pop-up by Lubering. And the leadoff runner aboard for the Cougars.
Yeah, you said it, perfectly placed. Not much you can do on it. Just getting into shallow right field. Madeir playing straight up, straight down. No chance at this. And the lead off the board here for the Cougars.
Let's see if Columbia starts to move runners into scoring position already. They have not been a team that's stolen a lot of bases this year. Bunt placed down. Wilson fields. Turns to Dalton. No problem there. Runner at second, one down. As a team, Columbia has 25 stolen bases this year. Harwager for Marian has 31. Here's Gottman. Gottman, the first baseman. Freshman. She went 0 for 3 in the first game of this doubleheader for Columbia. Green couldn't field it cleanly, and Harwager will simply eat it. So an error on the third baseman, and a tough hit, but that's something that Green has fielded so many times over the course of the last 3 days. Runners on first and second now for the visitors.
Yeah, not too often you're going to see an error by Green. Yeah, hard hit, but that's easily something a player of her stature would be able to field. So now a tough situation here for Marian early.
So Kinsler, her first at bat of the tournament. Puts down the bunt. Runners at second and third.
Not surprised they're using a little bit more small ball, especially early in this one, just to move some runners. We didn't see it until late in the first game. Columbia with any sort of runners on the base paths, so moving them here early. But Wilson doing a great job fielding her position, taking her time, getting the out at one.
So now it's on Shanks. Outside corner for a strike. Shanks was 0 for 3. Had the last out of the game in the previous matchup. Player from Nebraska. Sprays that one foul. The count is 0-2. Shanks has played in all 44, now 45 games for Columbia this year. She's hitting .314. 2 home runs and 16 runs batted in. Foul tip. Ground ball. Harwager diving effort, but doesn't have a play, and that's going to be a run for Columbia College, so they are on the board. So a base hit by Shanks will score Lubrick, and it's 1-0 here in the top of the second.
Shanks down on the count on that one. Ground ball at the middle. Harwager able to put a stop to it. But definitely with the speed of Shanks, she had no chance going to first, but at least prevents another run from coming around for Columbia.
So Columbia on the board after they did not score in the previous get-together. We documented their story towards the tail end of the last game. They were in a similar spot last year in the regional round. They lost back-to-back shutout games to Freed Hardman of Tennessee. Pringer looking for more. Again, she homered 2 days ago. She's got 5 of those on the season. That run batted in by Shanks, by the way, was her 17th of the year. And the count is now 0-2. So for Wilson, this is the first run she has allowed over the course of 3 different games against Columbia in the last 24 hours. Pringer reaches out and spoils that one. And the formula for success for Columbia in the first 2 games in which they won in this tournament was to get out in front early. They took a 1-0 lead against Marian in the second inning. They took a 1-0 lead against Middle Georgia in the first inning on Monday. And oftentimes you would feel with Schouten, 1 run might be enough. Roop blocks it, no advance from either runner. And the count is 1-2. Foul ball.
Yeah, we had mentioned up until, I guess, the bottom of the 7th inning, Columbia hadn't trailed at all in this regional. Very important that this offense got ahead early, capitalize on their offensive opportunities with runners on.
Change up, got her. Pringer got tied up on that one, but the Cougars strike first. They lead 1-0 going to the bottom half of the second. Back after this on ISC. Today's game presented in part by our friends at AAA Roofing. When it rains, it pours, so trust the pros at AAA Roofing. That's who we call. That is not a concern today. There is not a cloud in the sky currently. And rain delayed yesterday that turned yesterday from a 3-game day to a 2-game day. And then we knew we'd have 2 and maybe 3 today, and that's exactly where we are. This will be it. Whoever wins this game moves on. Whoever loses this game will see their season come to its conclusion. Norman, Green, and Meyer, 4, 5, and 6. 2 up this time through for Scott Fleming's Marian Knights. Norman 0 for 2, or 0 for 3 rather, with a pair of strikeouts. The game before this one, Schouten has largely mastered the middle of the lineup. Norman waves at that one, 0-2 the count. Sierra able to lay off of that one. Norman 10 home runs and 52 runs batted in. Foul tip. Able to stay alive on that one was Sierra. '56th game of the year for Marian at 48-7. Time is given. Contact made. Right field. Right fielder turns around. That's an inside-out double for Norman. Norman will stop at second base. But an extra base hit for Marian, something they did not have in the game before this one. And the leadoff runner in scoring position for the Knights.
Norman's bat finally waking up in this regional. I'm sure she has a sigh of relief out in second base because Schouten's been getting the best of her all regional long. This one hard hit way over the right fielder's head, right into the corner, and an easy stand-up double to get things started for Marian.
Let's see if Green is asked to put one down here. Chase that one. She has not found the answer to that off-speed pitch from Schouten over the course of the last couple of days. Swinging away this time. Green had a pair of base hits in the earlier game, going 2 for 3. Came into the day batting .307. 6 home runs and 45 runs batted in. Lay off of that one, 1-2 the count. And Meyer awaits on deck. I saw her getting some extra swings off the tee down in the batting cage, down the third base line between games. And a swing and a miss. So third strikeout already and 5 batters faced for Schouten, 1 down.
Batting for Marian, number 2, Grace Meyer.
Here's Meyer. Meyer was pinch hit for by Wendt. Wendt drew a 4-pitch walk in the 7th. Pops this one straight up. Meyer is trying to get one in play off a shot at this point. That's kind of step one. And does have a 2-run double in the first game of the tournament versus Tennessee Wesleyan. Good eye by Meyer, native of Seymour, Indiana. Second team all Crossroads League was Meyer. And the count goes to 2-1. Three and 1, count in her favor. And ball 4. So a successful AB for Meyer. First walk issued by Schouten. That's something she doesn't do very often.
We saw only a couple of them in that game 1. Rarely is she missing the strike zone. She's pounding her spots.
So here's Baker. Her last at bat against Schouten was a fly ball to center that scored the only run of game number 1. And hits the outside corner for a strike. This one will get out of play, and the count at 0-2. Again, Baker sprays it foul. Now, obviously, now you're getting to the second game of the day for Schouten. Third for Wilson and Marian. But for the hitters, they're starting to get a little better timing now after a 5th, the 6th, the 7th look. Which makes the fact that Schouten has 3 strikeouts already even all the more impressive.
I mean, if you go back in the book to the first time these two teams faced off, so many swings and misses. None of the timing was right versus Schouten. 12 strikeouts. At least that number came down just a little bit. And we're seeing actually a little bit more foul balls, like you said. Any piece of contact, putting it in play is huge at this point.
This one hit left field. Left fielder has it, and Norman was going, thinking that was either down or 2 outs, and that is a double play. So Norman, again, I'm not sure if she lost track of the outs or thought that was going to get down, but what that is a double play, and the inning is over, and Marian runs themselves out of a potential scoring opportunity in the bottom of the 2nd. So we are through 2 in this one. Columbia College a 1-0 lead here at ISC.
Ball here. Harris scores. With 19 seconds. Fake players, big boy. I'm telling you right now, that's awesome. I love it. That's the finish.
You get a layup taken and an and 1. Angel, King, and Wheeler, 2-3-4 coming up this time through for Columbia College. Stake to a 1-run lead here in the top of the 3rd in this elimination game for both of these teams, our championship here in Indianapolis. Angel, a fly ball to center. Her last time up. Line drive and right at the mid of Norman. Sometimes the ball catches you. 1 down.
Given the opportunity maybe to make up for something what we saw in the last inning. Hard hit ball. Norman just sticks up her glove for the first out.
Wilson in the circle for Marian, 21-3 coming into this one. King was hit by a pitch her last time up. Off speed misses off the corner. Count of 2-0. Again, the changeup has given King fits all week long. Swings and misses at that one.
Pretty pitch from Wilson. Way out ahead of it. And throwing it for a strike, too, just to get ahead of the count a little bit.
High and in tight. 3-1 now. Off the end of the bat. Harwager's got it. 2 down. These teams played each other 2 years ago in the NAIA opening round, with Columbia College picking up a 3-2 victory in an elimination game for the two teams. IU Southeast would actually end up coming out of that regional 2 years ago. But the Grenadiers made the national tournament this time around, too. Count is 0-1. So Wheeler last time. And a rocket at Green. Green was able to play it. Count at 1-1. And Wheeler, one of the 4 players for Columbia College that has homered here in the tournament. Pops this one up and out of play. Our home run came off of Stunkel. One of the 2 that was hit yesterday in the 4-2 victory for Columbia. Ground ball. Harwager's got it. And retired in order is Columbia in the top of the 3rd. They maintain a 1-0 lead through 2.5 as you're watching on ISC. A look down the right field line at the seats just outside of the field of play. We hope you've enjoyed your seat these last 3 days watching our broadcast on the ISC Sports Network. For Marian, they will send 8, 9, and 1 to the lineup. Roop, Dalton, and Harwager go up this time through. Sprays that one foul. Roop getting her 3rd start of the day. Her 27th start of the season. And she basically catches when Wilson pitches. Meyer does when Stunkel is on the circle. Today has been almost exclusively Wilson. Back up the middle. Diving effort by the second baseman, Lubering, but Roop. Ball got past the first baseman. She won't advance. That is an infield single for Caroline Roop. And Roop came into the day hitting 149, so it's a bit of found money right there for Marian.
Yeah, that one. Great diving play. Over at second base for Lubering. Just didn't have enough time to come up and fire it back to first. But great job by Roop. Another leadoff off for back-to-back innings for the Knights.
Dalton smacks this one but foul. And we'll see if Dalton is asked to move the runner over, or just allowed to swing away. Dalton 2 hits yesterday in the game against Columbia College. Dalton only got 2 plate appearances in the first game today and went 0 for 2. Swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. We'll see at least one more pitch. Top of the lineup rolls through with Harwager. Coming up next. Out straight back. So Dalton seeing a variety of pitches here in this at bat.
Yeah, that one high and inside, but at least got a piece of it. She's putting some hard swings on it, but was pretty ahead of that off speed. Definitely something she should think about shouting.
Couldn't catch up to that one. So 4 strikeouts the first time through the lineup for Schouten. Comes in at 18-6. Give me the ultimate praise of Schouten and how good she has been this year. This is her 25th start. And in her 24 previous starts, she's finished every time but one. ERA .85. Harwager tried to bunt her way on the first time. Sent it right back to the pitcher. Off the corner, 1-1 the count. Foul tip, 1-2. Harwager 1 for 3 with a stolen base in the first game of the day between the two. Waves at that one on the way by. And 2 down. Here's Pritchett.
Batting for Marian, number 9, Anna Pritchett.
Pritchett, a strikeout victim last time up. And trying to slap at that one. Almost changed her mind and admitted bad as to what she's going to try to do with that.
Yeah, it looks like she was starting for the bunt. Maybe saw everyone charge in and kind of tried to chop at it a little harder.
Now puts the bunt down, and that spins foul. Good read that time by Emily King. And the count at 0-2. Marian's gotten the leadoff runner aboard each of the last 2 innings, but has yet to do anything with it. And Pritchett strikes out. So after the single by Roop, 3 successive strikeouts by Schouten. She's got 6 and 11 batters faced. Through 3, Columbia leads 1-0 here at ISC.
3, 2, 1.
Has the first dunk in the building for Marian. Zoya waits, Waddell finishes. And lays it in.
There is right now the play of the game.
Better finish. Good. We might see that on Plays of the Week. Great feed. The finish. Spin. Win. 3. Bury it in the lane. No. Gun. Yes.
Whoa, what a play. Flying in.
Another gorgeous day here on the campus of Marian University. And the semester ended a couple of weeks ago, so parking a little easier to find than it normally would be around these parts. Wilson awaiting Roop to get the gear back on before commencing her warm-up pitches. Lubering, who got on board and scored the game's lone run, will lead things off for Columbia here in the top of the 4th inning. Today's game presented in part by our friends at Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get in the game. Pepsi, proud partner of the Marian University Knights. We've seen an inning where Lubering scored not just 1 bunt, but 2 laid down by Columbia College. Lubering reached on an error, reached on a single. Gottman reached on an error, and Shanks delivered the run-scoring hit on an infield single to the shortstop. Turning on this one. Left fielder was playing in. Baker backing up, can't get there. Diving effort, that'll at least be 2. It may be 3. Here comes Lubering. Throw up the line. Green throws behind her. Now they got a run down. They throw to Green. Tag applied on the helmet. Got it. Out.
6, 7, 5, 4, 5. 7, 5, 4, 5.
You don't fault Lubering at all on that one. And I thought she had 3 on that one, too. That was a great recovery by Baker on the throw. So give Lubering a double. And watch the arm by Baker after the dive, getting up quickly to get that ball back in.
It was way over her head. She was playing in and honestly caught her in the base paths. The throw wasn't to the bag at third. Green able to step off of it, get the throw down, get her in a run down, and take away that leadoff double.
Green couldn't locate the off-speed pitch. 1-1 the count. So the extra base hit by Lubering. That is ground ball, foul ball. For Lubering, that is her 5th double of the season, but trying to get a 4th triple. She's eventually tagged as she dives into third base. Count now 1-2. Just missed. So Green put a bunt down successfully last time. And homered yesterday against Marian. Count runs full now. And both pitchers reluctant to walk opposing batters. And with that, Green was swinging. Potentially chased one that was up and out of the zone. Full count. Columbia College trying to make their way to the NAIA World Series for the first time in 5 years. Popped up. Harwager drifting over. Makes the play. And there's 2 down. And these two schools tend to run in similar arcs because when Columbia College made the World Series in 18, Marian was there too. And Columbia won 2-1. That's in for a strike. This one up the middle for a base hit. No doubt about that by Gottman. That's the second player to make solid contact now in the inning for Columbia. So Gottman has reached in both plate appearances so far.
That one, if not for the defensive efforts for Marian, that one could have been another RBI single for Columbia.
No doubt about that. This is Kinsler's spot in the lineup. Let's see if that's going to change here. Kinsler's asked to put a bunt down. Kinsler had been coming off the bench or available as a sub the first 3 games. Now does Merritt come back in this spot or? Yep. So Merritt had been the number 2 hitter. But then Kinsler got the nod here in the 4th game of 3 days for Columbia. So Merritt comes back into this position. Tries to slap her way on. Green, Norman, 1 pitch, 1 out, end of the inning. So it remains 1-0. Columbia with the lead. Marian comes to bat when we come back here at ISC. A little activity picking up in the Marian bullpen. And Stunkel getting ready. You don't see her in the shot. That's her catcher in Meyer that's catching her there, who is the DP for Marian, and she is due up fourth in the inning. But obviously the margin of error is minuscule at this point for Marian. Trailing 1-0 here in this championship game in the bottom half of the fourth. So 3, 4, and 5 rolling up this time through for the Knights. We referenced Columbia trying to get back to the World Series for the first time since 2018. Marian trying to go back for the first time since 2019. Madeir swinging, and Angel couldn't come up with it. I'm not sure if she has a play from that far deep and short. She'd like to have that one back. We'll give Madeir credit for a base hit on that one.
Yeah, she'd have to have a rocket of a throw, perfectly splitting it. She's right off the tip of the glove. And for the third straight inning now,
Yep.
Knights lead off aboard.
I think Sophie would tell you that'd be an error, that she should have had that one, but we'll give the hitter credit on the play. Norman, who had a double down the right field line last time up. But couldn't connect on that one. And the fastball blown by her by Shot. And they counted 0-2. There's a little extra giddy up in that one.
That one had a bit of pop. Big swing and a miss. Following that off speed. Such a difference.
Slow roller. They will take the out. They don't get it. First baseman dropped it. Norman's going to stay at first. And Madeir will make her way to third. And that was a ball the first baseman should have had.
Definitely. Taking advantage of the mistakes is what they did earlier today. This one, just getting a piece of it, putting in play, you can see the difference it makes by just getting the ball down. Yeah, that one was low, but I don't even think the ball even bounced in. Definitely something that first baseman could have caught. So now with no outs, you got runners on the corners.
So Green will come up. Marian trying to follow the path that they forged that last time they went into the World Series in 19. Where they won their opening game of the regional, then lost game 2. Came back and won 1 elimination game, and then won 2 more elimination games the next day. That Marian team was 54-3. They did not lose a game until the postseason. Did Scott Fleming's team 4 years ago. So Green struck out last time. Runners in at the, or fielders in at the corners, I should say. Lifts this one. That'll fall harmlessly foul with the infield drawn in.
But also for Marian, beating smart on the base paths. We saw a crucial mistake earlier in this one when he had a runner on second. So just being smart, knowing the outs and the situations, and limiting those little mental mistakes.
Green pops this one up, and again it'll get to the seats. Counted 0-2. Green lays off of that one. Marian had runners at first and second with 1 out. In the second, Norman got doubled off at second base on a line drive to left. Ground ball gets through, base hit. Tied at 1. So the first 3 batters reach from Marian. Give Green the RBI, her 46th of the season.
Twice this inning, the Knights have been able to split that 5-6 hole on the left side of the infield. Easily this runner scores. Marian in the first game, they had to get it done thanks to a sacrifice fly. This one off a single from Green. Still nobody out here in the fourth.
So now Meyer. Meyer puts the bunt down. 1 play at first base. They take it. So runners at second and third. And first out of the inning. So the successful sacrifice by Meyer, 1-4. And now Baker, again, who smoked one last time up. She's hit it well the last 2 times she's faced Schouten over 2 games. A similar fly ball here would score the go-ahead run for Marian. Just off the corner. Baker, one of the 3 freshmen in the lineup for Marian today from Yorktown High School. A little high, 2-0. Few words of encouragement from Coach Fleming. Turns on this one, gets over the shortstop, in for 1 run. They're going to give one of the wave around. Throw comes home, cut off by Gottman. Relay not in time. 3-1 Marian. Baker drives in 2.
Big time single from Baker. She's racking up the RBIs today. Floats this one over the shortstop. Great job at second base by Green to know that was a single. Scott Fleming waving her around immediately, being aggressive with his call, and that ball was cut off by the pitcher. Cut off. It should have just gone all the way home. They could have had a play at the plate, but instead no throw and 2-run score.
Root puts the bunt down on a good one. Again, they'll take the out at first base. So Marian taking a play out of Columbia's book from earlier in the game.
2 good decisions for the sacrifice bunts and putting them down successfully. A lot of the times, Marian just hasn't been able to put the ball in play, a lot of strikeouts. So those were big ones and moving the runners in a big time, playing a big part in those RBIs.
Well, Schouten had given up 3 runs in her first 3 games of the tournament. She's now given up 3 runs in this inning. Her numbers have been spectacular all year, but especially in the conference tournament and now the regional. At some point in time, the law of averages catches up with you. Dalton swings and misses. Second trip through the lineup here for Marian, completed when Dalton completes this at bat and lifts that one foul. That tails out of the zone, 2-2 the count. Dalton did strike out her last time up, one of 6 that have been authored by Schouten so far, but she does not have one in the 6 batters she's faced this inning. Dalton caught by Gottman, and that is the end of the inning, but Marian puts 3 on the board, and they lead Columbia College 3-1 after 4, as you're watching on the ISC Sports Network.
Your life is on the go. Now your viewing habits can be on the go. With the ISC Sports Network app, your team is at your fingertips. You can download years' worth of content from the ISC Sports Network library. High school, college, special events, weekly and monthly shows, wherever you find your favorite app. And you can always find out more information at iscsportsnetwork.com.
I want to thank our friends at BSN Sports for their support of Marian University athletics all year long. BSN, the preferred provider of apparel for Marian University. And thanks to Mitch Huppert, Steve Downing, Mark Erdosi, all the good people we deal with at Marian University all year long. I think this is our final Marian telecast until September, which is crazy to think about, but that'll be here before you know it. So Shanks will lead things off this time through. 9-1-2 coming up for Columbia. Shanks the RBI single her last time up. And Wilson on for what is her 17th inning of the day.
Marian's just riding their senior. haven't given this team a reason to not go with her.
Shanks.
She's done a great job.
Yeah, helps her on that one. 0-2 the count. And again, you put it on, this is a 4-person senior class. Really only 2 of them get a chance to play a lot. And one of them's already said, I'm coming back next year. So Wilson really is the one player for Marian that knows, hey, if we get beat today, this is it for me. So she has the ultimate motivation of anybody on that field. Swing and they miss. A strikeout. 3rd K of the day for Wilson. And 1 down.
She's been working that outside corner against Shanks all day long, getting her to chase, getting her to work. Shanks fouls a lot of pitches off, but Wilson gets the best of her on this one.
Here's Pringer, who has struck out twice, singing the changeup. Effective as Wilson pulls the string.
That's the same pitch that got her back in the 2nd inning. Way ahead of it, just hasn't been able to time it out.
This one lifted foul. Up to home plate, 1-2. Getting the change up. Good job by Pringer to spoil that one as best she could. And the count 1-2. Wasted that one, 2-2 the count. Pringer, a senior from nearby Jefferson City, Missouri. And this one turned foul. Again, the changeup. And again, Pringer will see one more pitch. We've seen kind of numerous at-bats like this over the course of these last 2 games of the day.
Wilson pretty much is rotating between the inside, low, changeup. She's jamming these hitters, getting them off balance, way ahead of it, fouling a lot of pitches off.
That was a foul ball, and that one winged the umpire on the way by. So Roop will escort this ball back to Wilson to give our home plate umpire and Michael Brown a little time, and Michael himself will take a little time to brush off the plate. First base umpire says, hey, you all right? He says, I'm fine. Sure, it feels better on a day that's 70 and sunny, more so than one that's frigid and 39. Yeah. We're not too far removed from those days from a temperature standpoint locally.
Stings a little more on those.
Count it 2-2. Good job by Pringer. She's worked it back to a 3-2 set. Again, Wilson went the first 5 in game 1. This one smacked to left field for a base hit. So I bring that up. Potentially in terms of if you're looking at Stunkel maybe at some point in time. So a 1-out single by Pringer.
Pringer finally figuring out the off-speed, finally putting something in fair play. Splits that 5-6 hole.
Here's Angel. Hit a rocket last time, but right at the first baseman in Norman. And flew out to center. And we've seen Stunkel throwing on and off, just in case needed for Marian. Wilson hops this one, no further advance. Pringer has 5 stolen bases. You see the inset of her at the top of the scoreboard graphic. This one misses high, 2-0. This is the 3rd time in this game that these hitters have seen Wilson. They have seen nothing but her the last couple of days. And that misses high, 3-0. Some encouragement from the Marian dugout. You'd expect Angel is taken here. And that one right down Meridian. 3-1 the count. This one lifted, right field. Madeir couldn't get there in time, but may have the force, and does. Got the force out at second. Great recovery by Madeir. There's nothing that Pringer can do in that spot. That's just kind of the quirks of softball. There's 2 down.
Yeah, kind of just sitting there in between first and second. Madeir actually playing that one really well. Sometimes when it hops in front of you, it's difficult to field. She cleans it, throws it right to Harwiger at second. Great job getting the force. They've done a good job of that all day long. Not letting runners having too many opportunities to advance.
Yeah, if Pringer takes an extra step and Madeir catches it, double play, the inning's over. You're kind of stuck. You'll have to go halfway, which is exactly what she did. And still was thrown out at second base. Popped up. Norman should get there. She does. And the inning is over. Marian leads at 3-1, going to the home half of the 5th. Back with more in Indianapolis in a moment here on ISC. Look at Doyle Hall to our southeast. That's the football suite. You can overlook the football stadium and watch the game. You get the right dorm room in that building. Top of the lineup, Harwiger, Pritchett, and Madeir. Madeir started the last inning with a base hit. How about Madeir? She has a hit in all 5 games that Marian has played in this regional. Shouting on for yet another inning of work. And for the first time in this tournament, she will pitch a full inning trailing. Marian didn't take the lead till the top of the 7th. Marian was the visiting team in the previous game. Marian won that game 1-0. Now Harwiger trying to just find a way on the base paths, which is why she chopped it in that fashion. Shortstop has no chance. Before, we could kind of say, all right, Harwiger has gone from trying to maybe drive a run home just to get on base. Just belts into the ground and nothing that Angel could do.
Beautiful slap. First pitch. She knew that was going to be the best one. She's been falling behind the count in the last couple at-bats. She gets ahead early, chops her right over the third baseman's head. As soon as that happens, she's safe at first.
And there goes Harwiger, and Pritchett puts the bat on it. And, again, Marian working quickly here. Now we've got a little time. You know that Harwiger's taking that bag. If you're Pritchett, you got to let that one go because she had second base. I would imagine the exact same play is on here. Harwiger goes. Pritchett does make contact and sneaks it through. So back-to-back singles for Marian.
So the hit and run was on for Pritchett. Harwiger stealing on the pitch, and Pritchett pokes it through. So back-to-back singles here to start things off in the 5th. The Marian offense rolling the last 2 innings.
Here's Madeir. And Madeir the single to get the rally started last time through. Ground ball, shortstop, gets the lead runner in Harwiger. The 1 down, runners at first and second. It's a big out for Columbia. Here's Norman. Doubled and reached on an error. We come around to score on that error. That run unearned of the 3 that Schouten gave up in the 4th. Through the middle, base hit. They will give the run of the wave around. Throw, home, not in time. Marian's lead grows to 4-1. Give Norman the RBI, her 53rd of the season.
After struggling all regional long, she's got 2 hits in this game. Hard hit chopper up the middle, very easy for Pritchett with the wheels to come all the way around from second to score. And they're attacking on the insurance here in the 5th.
Wendy spread out to have a conversation with her ace. That will give Schouten every chance to work through this because she has been such a huge part of getting them to this point. But when you see a team a 3rd time in 2 days and you're pitching your 2nd game of the day, at some point, hitters will start to, as good as you are, hitters start to figure you out a little bit.
Yeah. It's a lot of innings she's thrown over the course of the season, conference tournament, the regional.
Slow rolling ground ball. Play at first base. They make it. 2nd out of the inning. Runners advance. And there's 2 down. Here's Meyer. Meyer put down a sacrifice bunt in her previous plate appearance. Threw a walk before that. She had a 2-run double in a similar scenario in game number 1 against Tennessee Wesleyan. That's in for a strike. Outside corner for a strike. 0-2. Trying to do our best to update you on some of the other regional finals taking place today. Meyer able to finally lay off that high one. Count it 1-2. That one misses. One score to pass along to you from elsewhere. College of Idaho defeated Baker of Kansas 4-2. Also forces a 2nd game at that site, like we have here today. Check swing. Second baseman's got no delivery. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find it in the sun. And Marian now will score twice on that. Lubering just lost in the high sky. And because there was 2 outs, the Marian runners were hustling. And now it is 6-1 Knights.
Just an unfortunate play in the infield. Like you said, losing in the sun. Glove coming all the way down. That's a big difference maker. 6-1, whole different game than 4-1. As the 2-out rally continues for Marian.
This one's starting to get away from Columbia. They played so well. First 2 days of the tournament. Did not give up a run until the 7th inning of game number 1. But it's starting to be a bit of an avalanche now for Marian. Here's Baker, who has had productive at bat after productive at bat. 2 RBI the last time she was up. Knights have sent 7 batters to the plate each of the last 2 innings. High and in tight. Ball 4. Just the 2nd walk issued by Schouten in this game. And Lily Went going to come in here in Roop's spot. And Went has been the talisman for Marian so far today. Was 2 for 20 coming into the day. Had a pinch hit RBI single in the first game against Middle Georgia. And then drew a walk from Schouten in the last game.
So 2 crucial at-bats where she's delivered.
Freshman from Chittard High School here in Indianapolis. That misses low, 1-0 the count. Tying in tight. One team has booked their trip to Columbus, Georgia next week. Georgia Gwinnett. They won their championship game in 11 innings this afternoon against Coastal Georgia. And Went again finds herself up 3-0.
Struggling a little bit here. Down by 5. Walked Baker. And now down to a 3-0 count. Struggling just to find the zone.
And Went works another walk. And let's see if there's going to be a move made here. How about the day that Went has had 3 plate appearances and has not been retired? And Schouten is done. So the ace of the staff walks out of the circle. What a job she has done to get Columbia to this point. Gottman will come in from first base and try to close this one out for Columbia. Let's give you Gottman's numbers in the circle on the season. Gottman has been their number 2. She is 7-2. She has 1 save. This is her 15th appearance. 9 of them have been in relief. She has walked 32. She has struck out 70. But the ERA, 4.18. Here for Gottman on the season. And with Dalton coming to the plate, Marian will bat around in this inning. And Schouten will stay in the game and play first.
Similar arsenal to what we've been seeing with Ella Schouten. The freshman with a nice fastball. And can keep hitters off balance. Doubling that with her changeup. And a high strikeout count for her as well.
So Dalton with the bases loaded. That does hit the outside corner for a strike. Dalton lifts this one into left field, base hit. They're going to give a late sign to go, and a good sign at that. So 2 runs scored. It's now 8-1 Marian. Dalton. And again, the run rule is in effect at 8 here. So Marian potentially has a chance to end this game here in the bottom of the 5th at 8-1.
New pitcher comes in. Mac Dalton staying hot. Puts a big swing on it out into left field. And automatically given the sign to Baker at second. High throw easily comes in, sliding home.
So Harwager began the inning, but is trying to get on the base paths. This time, she's trying to drive somebody in. Turns on this one. Right fielder comes in, got it. So we will play on here in this one, but it is now 8-1 Marian. We go to the top of the 6th. Back in a moment as you're watching on ISC.
Hi, I'm Query.
And I'm Schultz.
And of course, we do the incredibly creatively and appropriately named Query and Schultz program every Monday on ISC Sports Network. Derek, it airs at what time?
7:30.
Okay, every Monday at 7:30. We're now on season number 2, and if history tells us anything, catch us now because you never know when they pull the plug on it.
Why would you say that?
Because it's happened
That's not going
before.
to happen here.
Comcast, Xfinity 81, ISCSportsNetwork.com, ISC Sports Network, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, so many places to watch. Query and Schultz, 7:30 on Monday.
So Marian will go with a pitching change here now that they are staked to a 7-run lead in the top of the 6th. Wilson has done enough, and Stunkel will come on, trying to close out the final inning or two, much as she did against Middle Georgia in game number 1 of the day. So let's talk about Wilson. In 3 games, she threw 17 innings. She gave up 1 run.
Just a masterful performance from the senior. Kind of playing with the mental attitude that this could be the last and leaving it all out there. We know she wasn't a strikeout pitcher, but she handed out a couple of those to this Columbia team, facing them back-to-back, and they really weren't able to hit anything hard off of her. Shutting them out in game 1, only giving up 1 run here in game 2. And I'm not sure, maybe 1 double. I think that was the only extra base hit that she's given up in 2 games.
And that was Lubering, who then was picked off going between second and third because of Baker's great throw back in from the warning track. So here's Wheeler, again, who did homer off of Stunkel yesterday. But Columbia's got 6 outs to score 7 runs. A little high. So Stunkel got the save in game number 1. Because of the score, she's not in that position here in this game, but trying to close this out and get Marian on to the NAIA Softball World Series. Count it 2-0. Stunkel yet to find the zone. It's 3-0. Stunkel trying to do a little manicuring of the circle to get it to her liking. Wheeler getting the take sign here at 3-0. And Stunkel, 4-pitch walk. Further inauspicious start to her relief appearance. Promise you some of the other scores from around the NAIA regionals. If necessary game about to get started in Oklahoma, between Oklahoma City and Midland of Nebraska. Finding the zone that time against Lubering was Stunkel. Lubering 2 for 2. Single and has the lone run scored today for Columbia. Our Lady of the Lake of Texas and Hope International of California also playing the if necessary game. This one lifted. Right fielder, center fielder, right fielder's got it. And there's 1 down. Do have another World Series participant down at Cumberlands of Kentucky as they defeated Madonna of Michigan 4-1 in 10 innings. So the University of the Cumberlands and Georgia Gwinnett, they are both off the World Series at this point. So here's Green. Swing and a miss. Stunkel now has it dialed in, and she's got hitters helping, chasing that high fastball as well.
Yeah, like you said, she's kind of figuring out her plant foot, the situation in the circle. As soon as she got that figured out, everything seemed to go into place.
A little low on that one, 1-1 the count. Green, a sacrifice bunt and a foul pop-up to the shortstop in her 2 plate appearances today for the freshman from Iberia, Missouri. Also misses inside to Stunkel. 2-1 the count. Taken all the way was Green. That's in for a strike. And the count at 2-2. Gottman now pitching, awaits on deck. Change up, Stunkel throws to second, gets the first out, and because of kind of the casual fashion in which she threw it to second, there will not be a play at first, but good enough. You got the lead out from the Marian perspective, 2 down.
Yeah, a little double clutch. And her throw back to Harweiger at shortstop. Still able to make a good throw. That's the most important. Nothing worse as a pitcher than having plenty of time and throwing it away. But still, like they've been doing all day, getting that lead runner.
Just inside on Gottman. Gottman has reached both times, reached on an error by Green back in the first inning and singled in the fourth. Swing and a miss. Over top of that one. For yet another freshman in the lineup for Columbia College. And this one sprayed foul. And Merritt stayed in the game to play right field, so her spot is due up next if it gets to her. Marian will send 2, 3, and 4 to the plate in the bottom half of the sixth. And stay alive swing that pinballs off of various things behind home plate. And the count remains 1-2. Late decision to swing. Harwager going to be tough. And the throw gets by the first baseman. So we'll give that as a base hit and then an error on the throw. So Gottman gets her second base hit of the day. Green over to third. Runners in the corners now with 2 down. And here's Merritt. And again, Marian's got to be ready for a potential bunt base hit here.
Yeah, this one, Harwager did a good job of getting in front of it at least, but just sailing it to first. Maybe at that point better just to hang on to it.
Right back up the middle. Stunkel gobbles it up, throws over to first, and the inning is over. At least the top half of it. Marian may try to end this one in the bottom of the sixth. Either way, they feel good right now. Leading at 8-1 here at ISC. Look back towards the center of the Marian University campus, a postcard day here in Indianapolis. Hurdlers working and getting ready for the upcoming NAIA Outdoor Championships. So Pritchett to lead things off. Pritchett singled and scored. First of 5 runners to come around for Marian. Pritchett struck out the first 2 times against Schouten. Gottman, she faced 3 batters in the last inning. First time that Pritchett has seen the righty. And misses outside 2-0. Tough pitch. Well done by Gottman. 2-1 the count. That had Pritchett bending in a couple of different ways. Contact made. Shortstop's got it. Has time to get Pritchett 1 down. So here's Madeir. Madeir would reach on a fielder's choice, would come around to score. She would score on the pop-up that Lubering lost in the sun. That's when it turned from 4-1 to 6-1, and then became 8-1. Gave Marian a whole lot more breathing room here in the home half of the 6th. Madeir. 1-1 the count. Madeir and Norman both have scored twice each of the last 2 times they've been to the plate. And for a strike, 1-2 the count. Life's so much easier for this Marian team when they get production from the middle of the order, which they have gotten the last couple of innings. And a swing and a miss. 2 down. First strikeout for Gottman since coming on in relief.
In this heart of the order, getting out in a multitude of ways. The biggest thing for them, putting the ball in play. Norman, we've seen her start to get that bat rolling. She's got a double, a single in this one. But the difference in just striking out versus putting the ball in play is several errors have been made from Columbia and Middle Georgia in Marian's 3 games today.
Norman has done just that all 3 times, and she's reached all 3 times. Been a factor of an error on one of those. Picked up an RBI last inning, her 53rd of the season. 2-0. Norman 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Green 1 for 3 with a run scored. Madeir 1 for 4 with 2 runs scored. Sky high pop up. Catcher looks, but that hits the top of the building. Kind of 2-1. Looking ahead for Columbia. 9-1-2 coming up this time through. Three and 1 now. Marian trying to pick up a 49th win of the year and their 3rd of the day. Smoked to left center. That to the base of the wall. Norman makes the turn. She'll have her 2nd double of the day. I'd say that swing has a little confidence back in it now.
Yeah, she's got her groove back after struggling early in this regional. That ball roped out in the left center field. Hit perfectly right in the meat of the bat. And with 2 outs, 2nd double a day for Norman. She's cruising now.
Here's Green. Green 1 for 3. Green an earlier RBI, her 46th of the year. Lifts this one foul, 1-1 the count. And World Series play commences next Thursday in Columbus, Georgia. This one lifted, left field. Left fielder makes the play. Shanks lost it for a moment. Able to track it down. So Marian will have to get the final 3 outs in the top of the 7th. They lead by 7 here on this regional championship Wednesday on ISC.
Shot at the buzzer. She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Brady, hello! Did it again. Hello! Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello. There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, fall, ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow.
This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Opening round potentially 3 outs away from being over. Marian lost this Columbia College team yesterday, 4-2. And they have proceeded to beat Middle Georgia in the 10:30 game. Then beat Columbia College 1-0 in the 1 o'clock game. And now in the if necessary game, Marian has finally gotten the offense rolling and lead 8-1 against the Cougars.
Waking up at the right time. 10 hits in this final game. That's almost all the hits they've had this weekend combined.
Here's Shanks. Shanks gave Columbia a 1-0 lead back in the second. And lashes this one foul. It was a 1-0 lead that Columbia maintained until the bottom of the fourth, and that's when the bats got going. 3 in the bottom of the fourth, 5 in the bottom of the fifth. Marian flirted with making this a run rule game a couple of times in both the fifth and the sixth. This will go the distance. Shanks bunt, foul ball. Because Meyer popped up on that one quickly. She had an out, she could have gotten there, but it was in foul territory. This marks the third trip through the lineup for the visitors from Missouri. Pringer and Angel due up next time through. Ground ball, Norman foul ball. Fastball, and Shanks couldn't catch up to it. There's one away. So first one of those for Stunkel. She's now faced 6 batters and got credit for an inning and a third.
Good spin on that one. Low and exiting the zone as Shanks is pulling away. It's a swing and miss for her first K.
Pringer singled last time up. And she was thrown out at second base on that ball that Madeir played on a short hop, and nothing Pringer could do in that scenario. She struck out the first 2 times at the plate that aided Pringer against Wilson. Popped up. Thinking that'll reach the seats. Count it 1-1. I want to thank our ISC Sports Network crew for their work on this triple header today. Thanks to Vince Morales, David Kahn, Austin Lass, Dalton Cox, Charlie Hammock, Eldon Wheeler, and Rob Lynch. Pringer pops this one up. Left fielder coming in Baker, and Josh runs out of real estate. Count it 1-2. Well hit. Baker drifting back, makes the play. Pringer hit a ball like that in the first game of the 2 today. Baker's able to make a play on, and Columbia College down to a final out.
Marian outfield done a great job all day. Defensively, tracking down balls.
Here's Angel. Inside corner strike. Count it 1-1. Change up off the end of the bat. And now Columbia down to a final strike. Marian One pitch away from booking their ticket to the NAIA Softball World Series. Lifted, Norman backing up, makes the play, and Marian advances on. The Knights play 3, they win 3, and their season continues on to next week in Georgia. Final score 8-1. Wilson has a 3-win Wednesday. The senior lefty picks up her 20th, 21st, and 22nd wins of the season. Columbia College had a magical run through the conference tournament and through the first 2 days of this tournament. Their season ends at 26-19. Marian moves on to the Softball World Series for the first time in 4 years. Their season ended in the regional round of the tournament each of the last 2. Kelsey, your final thoughts on this one and our 3 days here in Indianapolis.
Well, what a Wednesday for Marian. The top seed playing like they didn't want to lose with their season on the line. Sydney Wilson, what an outing over the course of 2 games in this one, keeping Marian in this with back-to-back wins over Columbia. Their offense really coming alive in this second game. 10 hits, 8 runs, just getting the job done and doing it in a big way. Shouting and Columbia, they looked so good in those first two games of this regional, but Marian, the top seed, just able to get the job done. 3 wins in 1 day, and they're moving on to the World Series.
It's a great way to end it. Give your 5th-year senior the trophy. Marian is advancing on. They will have the chance to play for that red banner next week in Georgia. We thank you for joining us for the last 3 days here on the ISC Sports Network. Congratulations to all 4 teams that made it to Indianapolis. It's Marian that moves on. Goodbye from Indianapolis. Thanks for watching NAIA Softball on the ISC Sports Network.